room, and as far as their conversation, because they have the dialogue, so you got to sort of obviously honor that. But it's important to get that other silliness too. So yeah, we kind of looked at, okay, well, you'll start at this window, and then I'm going to need you at the big window, and then maybe you come over here to this window, and then then maybe you come back, and then my job was sort of figure out, okay, what do I do at those windows? And so you saw what I did. There were a couple times, because there's a lot of that with the big window. There's a lot of lines in there and a few different angles. So there was a point where I said, if you've got a good take of the shoulder roll, the diving in and rolling, just let me know, because I'd save a couple of those if I could. I would be happy to not do that one again. But otherwise, yeah, it was just, I think the shrub came up last minute. I needed something in the middle, and I just that terrible gag occurred to me.
It's a classic.
I mean, yeah, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound at this point.
Was your proper theater training coming in used? Was that some stage combat, all that rolling? Did you take a class that prepared you for that?
I take a class at Cheap Physical Gags, it's called, in the great classical tradition of cheap physical gags. No, I had done a little bit of fencing, so he's asking if was part of all of that, and I suppose.
Or like an acting, voice, and movement class where you really got in touch with your core and then backwards.
Years of training is all I can say.
Kudos to the prop guy that left that branch laying on the ground right there when you needed it.
I think you were the prop.
I said, could I put a branch here, and could it be real small so that it doesn't actually work? And somebody agreed. I know, when I watch it, I know it's coming, and so I see that thing sitting there, and it drives me nuts, actually, because it just it's so planted. But my hope was that they're not going to be thinking about that. They're just watching a scene, and then there it is. So maybe you can answer that question for me. Did you notice it until I picked it up?
Right there, you've been very patient. Right there, in front row. Yes.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, her right there.
All right, you're next.
I'll pick you next. She's tweeting.
So since we're calm, what was it like, you couldn't touch on this, but what was it like working alongside Nathan Fillion to create such a compelling duo?
Wow, well-written question.
Well, it should be more like, what was it like for him to work alongside? Well, Nathan is just, I think you'd back me up here, he's just like the nicest guy in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe it's because he's Canadian. He's just weirdly nice. He gives an extremely warm hug.
Oh, I love a hug from Nathan.
It's like, come out, and then you go back in.
Yeah.
He's got a whole method.
And you feel held. So held.
Just like Papa Bear, come into me, take me away.
There's a moment where you kind of melt, and you're like, where am I? Anyway.
Yeah. If you're confused about things, he'll make you even more.
Yeah, I'm straight. I'm not, this has nothing to do with that.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
It's hot here. Anyway, he's just a big fun guy, and he has what I don't have, which is just like, he's just relaxed in what he's doing. There's no anxiety, I don't think, while he's performing.
Tell them about him trying to chicken out.
Well, he did try to chicken out of the movie. He was like, yes, I'll do it, and then, no, I don't want to do it, I got to get out, and Josh said, you're doing it.
He had never done Shakespeare before in his life. And he said yes before reading it. Because because Joss was asking him, and who's going to say no to Joss? And then he read it and was like, oh, no, I
He's like, I'm so busy with
don't
my
understand.
TV show.
Yeah, he tried to, but
But-
thank God he didn't.
Yeah. But I think once he was there, like he makes you more calm when he's around, and he'll just do it and try stuff. And so I really was trying to jump on his bandwagon of being I was completely terrified. I had my lines written on note cards in my pocket the whole time. So we just kind of were playing around, and we didn't have a lot of time to rehearse. So just things kind of happen, and we would just see how far we could press it. Like, I really wanted to do a big lean into that wall, but I'm like, I'll do just enough so I don't get
It
yelled
was just
at.
right. No, just right. Perfect.
So yeah.
Yes, sir. You right there.
There seem to be many people that are sort of in Joss's orbit, right? To what extent do all of them know each other as well as Joss? Like, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're
in
friends.
relation.
Yeah, Tommy and I are good friends. I mean, because of, that's how,
Right.
well, Tommy and Allie met. I was off of Buffy at that point, but they became close, and then Allie and I are close, and so we became close. But I mean, there are degrees of familiarity, I think is the only way to put it. But a lot of us do know each other, either because of you've been on a show with them, or because of the Shakespeare readings, or just socially. You know, Joss he'll get people together and play charades or whatever. And
He's got good taste in friends and talent, and so just and a lot of those people did the readings in the backyard, and so you'd meet them there, or they'd bring a friend, and it just sort of was
Yeah.
many different circles overlapping. And,
yeah.
but
But it's true. I think you were saying if Joss likes somebody, and if you know Joss and you're his friend, odds are you'll probably like that. I mean, you know what I mean. You'll probably. But that would be true of all of you, wouldn't it? Kind of
And we
common.
we have been known to hang out as a group, and it's almost 2 years later, this movie being filmed, and we've traveled on a bus together, South by Southwest, and sometimes we'll have impromptu dance parties at Joss's house.
He's a dancer.
Wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. All the way in the very back corner there, that gentleman right there.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful. I'm really interested in what it was like with working with Joss in terms of his genius and his vision. And turn this into such a contemporary feeling piece, even though it's so Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I think you can't think about the genius thing, because it will make your head explode. Like, if you start to separate, like if you start thinking about what Joss has done and his creative genius and his intellect and his humor and his wisdom, you'll just pass it. You'll have to take a nap. It'll be too much for your body to handle. So I think for me at least, I just know that I can trust him. He's not going to yell at me like directors have in the past. Transformers. And so you know what, even at your very worst, he's going to help you through it. He's going to hold your hand. I don't know, what do you think?
I think that's so well put. The other thing about the experience of working with him in a practical way is that he wants you to do your thing. I mean, he wants to collaborate. He's a true collaborator. Like he's full of all these amazing ideas, and he is a genius, but he is also leaving space for you to bring whatever it is that you can contribute, and then that's the fun of it, is having the dialogue with somebody that is so smart and has such great ideas, and if something isn't working, he can turn it and find a revelation for you in a very simple way. I think with this, when he first brought it to me, and he has said this. We were doing some talks last night, and he was saying, it's sort of hard to say this because but he was saying, look, I knew that I had Beatrice and Benedict that I wanted to film what they were going to do, but that isn't enough to just make the movie. Like when Kai, his wife, proposed it, she said to you got to figure out what you want to do if you're going to make it, and he did. He went away and was like, well, what do I have to say about this other than just setting up the cameras and shooting actors that I like to be with, and that's so much of that is here. You know, he conceived the black and white imagery, and he understood why he wanted that, and he got a whole feel of what the polemic about love in the hands of these two couples, how it's handled differently, and he saw the ensemble nature, and we all know how incredible he is with ensemble.